Michigan's most watched news team. This is NBC 6 at 11.
Keeping your yard safe, that's tonight's top story. Good evening, everyone. I'm Leanne Woodbury. Well, with all the recent rains, conditions have been ideal for mosquitoes. Reporter Angela Yingling has tips on keeping your yard mosquito-free.
Not only are mosquitoes annoying, they can also pose a threat to your health. Each year, nearly 50 cases of lacrosse are identified in West Virginia. Lacrosse is one of several viruses mosquitoes can carry. Symptoms can include
severe headaches, irritability, sometimes vomiting without nausea, and of course, you know, you can get loss of consciousness. It's sort of similar to like meningitis.
Mosquitoes breed in water, and it doesn't take much for them to thrive.
Any amount of water that you can stick a marble in like this is a potential lacrosse breeding place.
Experts say stopping mosquitoes from breeding is the best way to keep yourself safe.
Every week, we need to be checking in our yard for things that are holding water, and we just dump them out. You dump them out, problem solved.
Experts say it takes a group effort to keep a neighborhood mosquito-free.
We like to say the yard that's neater beats the skeeter.
Reporting for NBC6, Angela Yingling.
And we saw a lot of that rain last week. So far, a pretty dry start to the week. Meteorologist Corey Henderson is standing by in the Weather Center with the first look at our precision forecast.
Yeah, we certainly have been given a lot of rain here lately, even some rain throughout the evening. Our weather watcher in Peters Mountain picking up on about an inch of rain. Most of you, though, just staying hot and humid without any showers to help cool you off. We do have just a few returns, and I mean just a few returns showing up on our Precision Live Doppler radar. Most of the return activity across Bland and Wythe counties, that will soon be fading away. Let's look at our temperature and see what you're checking in at. Seems like 70 is a very popular number right now. 70 in Fayetteville, 70 in White Sulphur, 73 in Hinton. It's 70 in Princeton, Welch, Pineville, and Bland, and Tazewell, and Grundy. We'll see temperatures getting down into the low 60s tonight. Watch out for some patchy dense fog again early tomorrow morning. But unlike today, we won't see any showers and thunderstorms popping up. We'll be moving in a little bit more of a stable atmosphere, slightly drier air, but still very hot and humid. Highs for tomorrow will be in the mid to upper 80s. We'll see when we'll have some relief from the heat coming up in just about 10-15 minutes. Now back to you, Leanne.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks a lot, Corey. Police are looking for the suspect and the victim of an early morning stabbing in Beckley. Detective David Aller with the Beckley City Police says the victim was stabbed 3 times outside his apartment around 4:30 this morning. The victim said he went outside to ask several juveniles to leave the area because they were being too loud. He was then stabbed allegedly by a black male. No other description of the suspect is available. The victim was treated and released from the local hospital, but police have been unable to talk to him. If you have any information on this incident, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number, 255-STOP. And an early morning accident closes down Route 460. The accident happened in the Knox Creek coal area. NBC6 received reports that the driver and the passenger of the Brown Trucking Food Service vehicle were both trapped in the truck for more than 3 hours. Several agencies, including Medevac, responded to the scene. The driver has since been treated and released. The passenger was extracted and flown to a local hospital. There's no word tonight on the passenger's condition or the cause of that accident. Police continue investigating a meth lab in Fayette County. Officers of the Drug Task Force say a tip led them to an operational meth lab in a PAX home. They arrived at the home around 6 last night and continued processing evidence in the crime scene until 5 this morning. Officers say the lab was fully operational when the raid began. There were 3 unrelated people in the home when the police arrived. Charges are pending against all of those involved. The Princeton and Bluefield police departments are still working together to find a man who they believe was involved in 3 robberies. Detective Charles Poe of the Princeton Police Department says so far the information that both police departments have received hasn't led to any solid leads. The suspect is described as a white male, 5'8" to 6 feet tall with baggy clothes. Police believe the same man robbed Domino's Pizza and Berkshire's Frozen Custard in Princeton and say it's possible he's the man who robbed the Joy Food Mart in Bluefield, killing employee Eslam Mohammed. Poe encourages anyone with information to contact their local police departments. After West Virginia Delegate Ron Thompson officially turned in his letter of resignation Thursday, well, the question on many people's minds, who's going to fill his shoes? Finding a replacement for Delegate Thompson is up to the state Democratic Party. 4 members of the Delegate District Committee are working to choose the right candidates. 2 representatives from Raleigh County and 2 from Summers County have until August 10th to suggest 3 candidates. That list is then sent over to Governor Manchin's office, and Manchin has 5 days to select the next delegate. Thompson resigned last week, stating that the full recovery from his bipolar depression was taking longer than he expected. A presidential hopeful made a stop in the Commonwealth today. Speaking in Richmond, Virginia, Republican presidential hopeful Mitt Romney is taking on rival Rudolph Giuliani over who has the best health care plan. As governor of Massachusetts, Romney says his health care plan was passed by the legislature, and now Massachusetts law requires employees and employers to provide insurance to their workers. Giuliani's plan would combine a major tax deduction, health savings accounts, vouchers, and Medicaid reform. American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees and the West Virginia Public Workers Union are both jockeying to advocate for public employees. The 2 organizations hope to take part in the Meet and Consult pilot projects. The pilot projects will allow representatives, employees at the regional jails, general services, and the Division of Purchasing and Highways to hold non-binding talks with management over working conditions. Governor Manchin sanctioned the projects earlier this year. Dominion Resources and Shell Wind Energy announced today they'll build 50 more turbines next year at the Mount Storm wind farm despite a legal challenge. They'll be capable of generating power for 25,000 homes. The project still faces a lawsuit filed by nearby homeowners who claim their property values will plunge. If you drive a motorcycle, some startling statistics might make you rethink your safety. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, in 2006, deaths among motorcyclists rose by 5.1%. Now that means motorcycle deaths now account for 11% of total highway deaths. This is the highest amount of motorcycle deaths per year ever. Experts say one of the factors that contributes to the increase in deaths is a surge of baby boomers buying motorcycles. 2003 statistics show that 53% of motorcycle owners are over the age of 40. Locking your keys in the car can be an inconvenience, but if your child is still in that car, it can be a parent's worst nightmare. Beckley firefighters say it's a call they get at least twice a week. Terry Wiseman has more on when a hot car turns deadly.
Once or twice a week, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Price says it's an accident that any parent or guardian can make.
An unforeseen accident that, with the electronic locks the way that they are now, the easy push button, it's easy to accidentally push the button.
Firefighters say if this ever happens to you, don't panic, just call them.
Usually the best bet is just to call us and we'll come and get them out. Okay. We can do it very quickly.
You realize you've got the problem, you call us, we come. Unlock the car. The child's going to be okay. They might be sweating a little bit, but they're going to be okay.
As long as they're sweating, their body's doing its job.
To be safe, make sure your child drinks water once outside the car.
Dehydration, can be a concern, but just immediately get them, water or any other kind of liquid that can replenish their fluids would be good. Yeah.
It may sound like simple advice, but firefighters say use caution if you have a child in the car in this extreme heat.
Just take a few extra seconds, before you close that door, and just make sure you got your keys in your hand.
Be aware, just maintain control of your keys. Yeah.
This is especially important if you have a pet in the car.
Just a few minutes. It doesn't take long. The dog overheats and dies of a heat stroke.
That was Terry Wiseman reporting. Accident or not, police say the person responsible for locking their keys in the car and they're locking the child in that hot car could spend time in jail. So be sure to be cautious in these hot conditions. Oak Hill Police expect to have a new station within the next 2 years. The Fayette County Board of Education and City of Oak Hill are teaming up on a new construction project. A new police station will be built on land beside Oak Hill High School. The Board of Education will provide 1 acre of land in exchange for extra policing of large school events. Oak Hill City Council voted unanimously on the agreement between the city and the board last Thursday.
This period where we've lost a large retailer in Oak Hill, perception is that Oak Hill's not doing well financially, Oak Hill is doing very well financially. We're not wasting money, but we're spending money on worthwhile projects like the new police station.
It'll put us in a very high visible spot with the Board of Education having 3 schools right there at our back door. It's going to be great for the whole city.
Other benefits include safety for officers and more room for the police department, the municipal court, and other city administrative offices. Well, stay with us, folks. World News Wrap is coming up next. But first, here's the results of tonight's WVVA web poll. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning for NBC6 is underwritten by Mountain State ENT and Facial Plastic Surgery Incorporated. A. James Payne Jr., MD.
A terrorist plot is discovered and a delay for a space shuttle liftoff. This is tonight's World News Wrap. A suspected terrorist has pleaded guilty to planting a bomb in a busy shopping mall in Columbus, Ohio. A Somali immigrant confessed to a judge today to plotting an attack on an unidentified mall on the busiest shopping day of 2003, the day after Thanksgiving. The man suggested the plot is the now convicted al-Qaeda terrorist Ayman Faris in a coffee shop meeting in Columbus in 2002. Faris has since been sent to a maximum security prison in Colorado for planning to blow up the Brooklyn Bridge. The Army today censored a retired 3-star general for lying about the circumstances surrounding the friendly fire death of Army Ranger Pat Tillman. Army Secretary Pete Drain said Army Lieutenant General Philip Kensinger was guilty of deception and deceived investors following Tillman's death. A special panel will now decide whether Kensinger should be stripped of his 3rd star. It's been 1 year now since Cuban leader Fidel Castro transferred power to his brother Raul. On July 31st, 2006, Fidel handed over power to Raul Castro just before he underwent emergency intestinal surgery for an undisclosed ailment. Fidel had held power in the country since 1959. Officials have not yet said whether Fidel will ever resume his duties as president. Colombia's defense minister made a major admission Monday when he told reporters in Bogota that corruption has crept into the highest levels of the country's military. Defense Minister Juan Manuel Santos admitted that cocaine smugglers and leftist rebels had infiltrated senior levels of the army through bribery to avoid capture. Some military officials have been arrested in the case, and more arrests are expected to follow. The bribery scheme was discovered earlier this month when the Army found classified military information in the computer files of members of the FARC rebel group they said could have only gotten there through corrupt Army personnel. An air leak in the crew cabin could keep NASA from launching the Space Shuttle Endeavour next week. NASA thought it fixed the problem by tightening a loose bolt, but testing shows air is still escaping. Engineers are analyzing the problem and are trying to pinpoint the source of the leak. It could take so much work that NASA might not be able to launch Endeavour on August 7th. And that's tonight's World News Wrap. Stay with us, folks. Meteorologist Corey Henderson is coming up next with a look at your precision forecast.
You're watching NBC6 at 11 with Leanne Woodbury, meteorologist Corey Henderson, and PJ Ziegler with sports.